Hello again, friends, bookworms, readers, internet family. It's lovely to be back with all of you. I've been hard at work writing book 4 and trying to meet my deadlines, so I have not had as much time to sit down and talk to my author tube as much as I would like. But I'm back now, and I'm going to try to film several videos this week to roll out to you over the next little while, because I don't like being out of touch for this long. It's not fun for me. But today I'd like to touch on to a very specific thing that has been making the rounds in the writing communities of Twitter and Facebook again lately, and that is the topic of pen names. Why authors use them or don't use them. And I understand from a marketing standpoint why a lot of authors choose to use pen names, especially like if they're writing erotica and they don't want their family to find out, or if they have made a living doing one type of writing and they need to rebrand themselves. A new pen name is very helpful for that. But a lot of first-time authors wonder, should I use a pen name or should I not? Now, I don't have an answer that works necessarily for you, but this is why I choose not to use a pen name. And it's a little bit of a journey, and it was a lifetime to get here to this point. But I'm here now, and I'd love to tell you how I got there. So let's dive in. So, in case you just stumbled upon me accidentally and haven't read the channel header up there, my name is Caitlin Bellamy. Yes, that is my real name. That is no pen name. I have no middle name. My mother didn't believe in middle names because when you get married, you take your husband's last name, and then your maiden name becomes your middle. She's very old-fashioned in the naming conventions. It's fine, but I have no middle name, so, like, graduation was real short for me. Everyone stopped and went, what? But I grew up really, really not liking my name for many reasons. One, I didn't like that I didn't have a middle name, because every year during school, first day of school, in every class of the day, it was roll call, roll call. First, middle, last, first, middle, last, first, middle, last. Caitlin Bellamy. You don't have a middle name? No. It got to the point for a while where I started claiming a false middle name, because when my mom was mad at us, she would make up middle names for me and my sister. Caitlin Rebecca Bellamy was my official full name, although it was on no birth certificate and it was just casual and only when she was mad. I didn't know how to spell Rebecca, so sometimes I would give myself that middle name but spell it 19 different ways. I would use it to get extra letters in those like playground games where you run to the other side if you have this letter in your name somewhere. I'm like, Rebecca can have an H in it. Rebecca can have a Q in it. It's not written down anywhere. Who are they to say? So that was a lie. But I always hated how short it was. It was, everyone else had middle names, and I felt very left out not having a middle name. But that was fine. I got over that eventually. It became a thing that didn't matter as much anymore by the time I got into middle school. However, that was not the only problem I had with my name. I grew up reading epic fantasy novels, and I wanted a creative, beautiful, elegant name like Eilenwe or Ramona or Alana. I wanted the sound. I liked Rebecca. It was my middle name. I thought I should just take it as my name at one point. What I didn't understand when I was younger was the symbolism behind my name. My mom had named me after herself. Her name was Kathleen, and my name was a Gaelic variant of Kathleen. It meant pure. Now I, as someone who always wanted to be a fiery redhead running through the woods barefoot with her bow, I was a horse girl in every way. I was a horse and archery and forest talk to the wolves girl. That felt very boring to me. So I found out the symbolism and hated it more, honestly. But it was fine. I never really had an excuse to change it. Everyone knew me. I mean, my mom introduced me to my teachers that way. And then high school happened. And I had a chance to rebrand myself. The decision to rebrand myself came on day 1 of freshman year. Because we're in gym class and we're all introducing ourselves. Yay. And I learned very quickly about 19 Caitlins in my small school. Oh boy, was that a popular name for babies born in 1989, apparently. My parents had no idea when they named me that it would be one of the top 10 girls' names of that year. They had no clue. But when I got to high school, it suddenly became painfully clear that every other girl had that name. So that was frustration number one. I didn't want to go by my last name. I didn't like it. And I really wanted to be someone new in high school. Middle school was horrible for me. You don't go to a performing arts high school having loved middle school. You don't go to a small, weird magnet school for your high school experience if you weren't bullied and mocked in middle school. If you were popular in middle school, you did not go to places like I went. This was the weird school. This was the school everyone wasn't sure was going to make it. I went to a weird high school. It's not where you go if you're the head of the cheerleading squad. Anyway, I wanted to be more interesting, and already, right off the bat, it felt like I was not going to be interesting in high school if my name was Caitlin. That was everyone else's name. And then we played a game. Later that day, we split into groups of like 10, and we did that really stupid get-to-know-you game, where you have to go around the circle and use an adjective to describe yourself that starts with the same letter as your first name. And you have to remember everybody else's. So, like, this is Outrageous Ollie and Joking John and all those things. Guess what letter of the alphabet does not have a lot of adjectives that go with it? K. And I was the second Caitlin to go in my group. So the other Caitlin with a K, who went by Katie, got to be Kooky Katie. And I, scrambling for a word that started with a K, and, this is very important, not knowing what this word meant as my innocent baby 14-year-old self, picked Kinky Caitlin. I'm gonna let that sink in. I was 100% a virgin, had only been kissed like once in my life by my boyfriend when I was 10. It was not real kissing. And suddenly I had accidentally branded myself in a terrible way. It took a long time for me to realize I'd made a mistake. And for me to realize that's why other people thought I was comfortable being talked to the way I was. So I blamed my name in every way. A few months later, I was able to sort out the issue for myself. I couldn't just go and announce to the school, I didn't know what kinky meant, take it back. But people had, after that, figured out, oh, she doesn't actually know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what French kissing is. She doesn't know what it means when you say you're macking on somebody. She's a dumb, innocent idiot. Okay. So they figured that out themselves. And I realized where I'd gone wrong. But by this time, I was so done with my name. And there were 4 Caitlins in the theater department. And you spent all of your classes, all of them, with your major. All the theater kids were together all the time. All the dance kids were together all the time. That I mentioned I went to a performing arts high school. My graduating class was 70 people. We were small. Not a lot of room for overlap. So, I made a choice at that point. I decided I was going to change my name because my parents hadn't met my teachers and I could introduce myself or rebrand myself however I wanted. I told everybody, I'm going to be Gwen now. Gwen. Gwen. It's a beautiful name. I'd like to change my last name too. I'd like to be Gwen Warren. I decided that was going to be my new self. The Gwen name worked fine for several weeks. My friends called me Gwen. My teachers embraced it and were like, great, you were done trying to figure out which Caitlin is which. Gwen, amazing. And then somebody called my mother. Not about that. They were calling about a homework issue or about a parent-teacher issue, like a mundane school thing. And I said, hello, we'd like to speak to Gwen's mom. An important note. My father's name was Glenn, and I did not tell my mother that I'd changed my name at school. So she misunderstood everything. There was a lot of mistaken identity name issues thrown in, and after she sorted it all out, she called me into her room and said, you go back to school tomorrow and tell everybody to use your real name. I'm not doing this. And I couldn't figure out why she was so upset by that. I couldn't figure out why she wouldn't just let me go by the name I wanted to. And I was bitter. I was bitter and angry. I continued to go by Caitlin for the rest of the 4 years of high school, or Katie Lynn, or KT, or whatever my friends felt like calling me that day to separate me from the other Caitlins. And I kept dealing with that. And I kept on looking forward to the day where I could go by a stage name or a pen name. And then I moved to college. My life spiraled out of control. I got divorced. I got married first. I got married. My name changed. I got divorced and learned how hard it was to go back from being Caitlin, married name, to Caitlin Bellamy. And then my mom got sick. And I watched her, this woman I'd been named after, fight so hard against the cancer that would eventually take her life. And I watched her be this hero. And I was all at once filled with this pride at having been named after her. Because even after she was gone, I got to keep this piece of her with me always. Same thing with my last name. If I get married again, I don't think I'm going to change my name, because Caitlin was for my mom and Bellamy was for my dad, and now they're both gone. And it was around the time Mom was really getting bad that I started to realize I didn't think I wanted a pen name anymore. My family and I had finally agreed that a pen name would have been fine, but look how pretty your name sounds and all these things. But I started realizing at that point, I'd already moved here to Orlando, and I'd already gone through so much heartbreak and pain and stress and change, and people not believing in me, and people in my high school not thinking I was going to make it, and people in my past not thinking I was going to make it, or in my present calling me out and thinking, you're not going to be talented enough to become this person. And my ex-husband and I were on really bad terms at that point. We tried to stay friends, and then that went down the drain very quickly. And I realized in me, right next to the part of me that wanted to respect Mom's wishes, was a much bigger part of me that wanted to let everybody know I did this. There's something about using your own name and that fantasy of somebody from your past walking by and seeing it on a bookshelf, on a movie, someone who made fun of you, someone who didn't believe in you, someone who walked out of your life because they thought they were better than you. And I've had so many of those people. I have had so many bullies and naysayers and doubters and people who made me hate myself and people who made me not believe in myself. It still happens now. There are people who've walked out of my life where I got so hurt because of the friendship I was losing and because they didn't believe in me anymore. I've had people who don't think I can do it. There's something in me that longs to succeed in spite of that. And I don't have to reach out to them and say, haha, look, I did it. Because that's not the kind of person I am. But I am the kind of person that relishes in the idea that someone someday who made fun of Caitlin Bellamy, not Gwen Warren, not Fiona Bernadette, not any of the other pen names I had thought of in my life, Caitlin Bellamy did this. That brings me a great amount of joy. I understand wanting to use a pen name, but I am supremely grateful that I didn't, because my name is on those books. My name is right here beneath a New York Times bestseller. It here. That's me. At the end of the day, none of those false personas and pen names went through the things I did. I went through the things I did. I went through the pain and the changes and broken bones and broken hearts and just so much. I've been through so much in my life, and that name has been with me through all of it. I am now very proud of my name. It has lived a million lives, it feels like, just in the last 30 years. It is tired. My name is Sleepy. But I'm proud to have it on my books. So that's why I don't use a pen name. If you're a writer or considering being one, let me know if you use a pen name, or if you don't, let me know if this has changed your mind at all on the pen name choice, because I occasionally will post things like this on Twitter and they'll go, "That's a really good idea." So, out of spite and out of pride and out of a great feeling of accomplishment, I have chosen to continue to write under my own name, because I earned this. I earned the joy of seeing my own name on a cover and on book reviews and with the best-selling author tag. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. So I hope to be bringing you even more of these soon, because I've missed all of you, honestly. Ooh. I've been gone for several weeks and I still don't have a good catchphrase. So, get out there and make some magic.